Hey, hey, Scorpio, and happy birthday to my November Scorpios. Welcome to your reading. I'm Madeline, if we haven't met before, and I am excited to see what the story is for you this month. How you doing after that lunar eclipse in your opposite sign in Taurus over on the 28th? Did you experience any big revelations, moments of completion or understanding? Especially maybe those of you that have Scorpio rising around partnerships, like one-on-one, romantic, creative, business, mentor, mentee, any of that. Very curious to know. Let me know, comments, stories, questions. I'd love to hear it. I've got a lot of strong Scorpio placements myself, so we got stories, goodness knows. But okay, so first we're going to get into the story of your month via your tarot cards, and we will close off the reading by pulling a couple of cards from the Star Codes Astro Oracle deck to get a little more guidance from Spirit to support you in whatever your story is. So let's find out, shall we? So Spirit, we want to know where Scorpio is in this month's chapter. It is Scorpio season, so the sun is in their sign, lighting things up. You know, this is always good advice, Scorpio, but Spirit is throwing this in. So if, for those of you that know your birth chart, again, if you're Scorpio rising, then you know that Scorpio is in your first, or the sun is in your first house, your house of self and identity and vibe. But you can be a Scorpio sun, but have the sun in the second or third or fourth or 12th house or whatever. Look at your chart and see where your sun is so that you know this month, that's the area of your life that is being highlighted, okay? Your identity is being highlighted no matter what, because that's what your solar return is all about. But if, for example, your sun is in the third house and you're like a very talkative, information-oriented person, you might find that something is really lighting up around your ability to share, learn, teach, etc. Just as an example. Okay. So let's get into it. Spirit, where is Scorpio in their story, and what do you want them to know for their highest good, their greatest sense of joy, peace, fulfillment, understanding? What is coming to their attention in November, and what do you want them to know or do about it? For Scorpio Spirit, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising. What do you need to know, Spirit? In the month of November, what kinds of themes are showing up for Scorpio? And what do you want them to know, do, understand, or embody? A couple more. In the month of November, Spirit, for their highest good. It is Scorpio season. It is their most powerful time. What do my folks with Scorpio placements need to know this month? Okay, they want more than a few. Let's go. Okay. Wow. It is really interesting to do these readings, Scorpio, and notice like that certain cards come up for signs of the same quality. So the way that I choose to like sit down and record these readings is I'll do the cardinal signs, and then I'll do the fixed signs, and then I'll do the mutable signs, right? So for your fellow fixed signs, which you are cousins with Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius, some of these cards have consistently come up. So it's really interesting to see how like the themes of astrology match with the themes of tarot, because you know, Spirit is consistent. Spirit knows what they want to emphasize and when they want to emphasize it. And there's a lot here around vulnerability, but vulnerability as like a form of strength. As I pull up your final card, vulnerability is a form of strength. We'll talk about it. Okay. I feel like most of you, Scorpio, the first thing that I want to say is that you have got your head right. That's what I want to say. Is I feel like you've got a good head on your shoulders. I think that you have, if not a clear sense of like where you are and where you're going, an intuitive sense. And I'm hearing both things. Okay, great time to remind you, Scorpio. These are, of course, general readings. So I'm getting messages for different Scorpio and Scorpio planet people who are going to tune in for this reading. So for some of you, it feels like I have a plan, like logical, like step one, step two, step three, or I'm going to initiate this plan. I have a thought and I'm going to act on it. Some of you it feels like that. For others of you, it feels like way more scorpionic if I'm if I'm going to be scorpionic about it. It feels like I don't know why I need to do this, but I need to do it. And moving with that, that's what that star card represents. It's like it's not the sun where everything is clear and brightly lit and you can see the obstacles, you can see the opportunities. No, the star is I am wandering around in a forest at night. And you know what we don't do in a forest at night is run full tilt in any direction because we don't know what's out there. We don't know. We might trip over a rock and twist our little ankle, and then we've got to hobble through the woods. We don't want to do that. So, what would happen if you were uh, lost in a forest at night without your eyes to necessarily be the most reliable guide? You would have to open up the rest of your senses, right? Your sense of hearing or your sense of touch will have to become increasingly more sensitive so that you're aware of what is beneath your feet, or what kind of vegetation am I getting close to water, perhaps, my nose will tell me that. So spirit is talking about your sensitivity as a gift as opposed to a liability, and we're living in a time when people can think of either theirs or other people's vulnerabilities or sensitivities as a weakness, and it's like that is some supreme bullshit that I don't even want to clog up your reading with. Okay, I will just say your vulnerability this month, and I would argue at all times, is a strength. It's those of us who ignore or pretend that we don't have vulnerabilities that find ourselves in danger. You know what I'm saying? So, if you feel like you have to hide anything, and Scorpio things, but if you feel like you have to sneak, I feel like it's time to let that go. If it feels like I have to put on armor when I'm around this particular family member or this whatever, it's like I would just say anything that requires you to put on armor is not where your success or your strength is this particular month. There are times that it's wise to fight, and there are times when it is wise to retreat and regroup. And that's what it feels like for you this month. Um, Feels like a lot of you are doing a lot of deep, like spiritual pondering. Where am I? Where am I going? And it makes sense. It's your solar return. For those of you that are Sun in Scorpio, it's like it's my birthday, it's your personal new year. It is the time to take stock, to take inventory, to sort out what's working, what's not working. What do I want more of by my next birthday? And what do I want less of or none of? And let me take action lined up with that feeling. Okay. So, Seven of Swords, crossing the star, is why I'm saying all of this. The Seven of Swords is about dropping, like cutting your losses and stepping away from a fight that it's like it's not, there's no victory there. And that's kind of what I'm feeling is like I could stay and fight this person or whatever. They are never going to come around. No matter how I say it, no matter how smart, how logical, how clear, how whatever I could be, this person can't hear it. And that's just what I'm hearing for some of you. Again, for some of you that won't apply, don't worry about it. But for some of you, it's like my mother-in-law or whoever is never going to get it. So I'm going to divest from, and they're using that word very intentionally. It's like, I'm not going to be invested in someone's approval if I am aware that I'm never going to get it. Not because of anything that's wrong with me, mind you, but because that person is not willing to give that out, or that person wants me to jump through fiery hoops, and I've got more dignity than that. So I will just have to live without their approval, dropping those swords, moving the fuck on. Okay? What battles do you need to leave behind? I would just say to you that it seems like it's worth it. And if you need to speak your piece and then leave, which is what that Ace of Swords might be indicating for some of you, then do so. But like clean break is what I'm hearing with that Ace of Swords. And for others of you, Spirit is, being punny and saying clean breakthrough. So some of you might cut things off. Some of you might just make your stance clear. You know what I'm not here for is this bullshit. If you want to get this right, then we can go forward. If you don't want to get this shit right, then you can move out of my way. That's kind of the vibe. It's kind of the vibe. Sitting in the basement of your reading, or kind of what's going on internally. King of Cups. Beautiful card. I'm hearing a couple different things. Scorpio, for some of you, this represents you. So the master of your emotions. King has very little to do with sex and gender, a lot more to do with personality type. And it's like you are deeply emotional, deeply intuitive, but also in absolute control. I'll use that word very loosely. You are able to navigate all kinds of emotional ups and downs with a kind of like equanimity and harmony. And if you don't feel that way, Scorpio, then this is referencing someone who is close to you. This could be a partner, this could be a loved one, a family member, a friend. This is somebody who gets you and is kind of like a psychologist or a counselor, in that they can give you compassion, give you guidance, give you even empathy, but without like, it's the difference between being able to hear you tell me a story that is really like difficult and sad and heart wrenching, and being able to hold space for you, as opposed to like, oh, that's so awful. I can't believe that happened to you. And it's not that there's anything wrong with like, crying with you and stuff, but it's like the King of Cups is there to hold you in your cry, or hold you in your fear or your anger. And they are able to hold that space, and they do not lose themselves in the emotions. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, that sounds so hard. I can see how that would make you really want to close up around that person. But I'm really proud of you for not doing that. I'm so proud that you were able to still state your truth. That's amazing. Somebody who helps you, like, Spirit is saying, like, this person's like a midwife of the spirit. It's like they help you give birth to a bigger, braver, more aligned version of yourself. So this person could be counselor, therapist, like I said, friend or loved one, who's just like a wise person. In whatever guise this person is really emotionally mature, and you can trust them to hold everything that you're going through and be able to be there with you without losing it or you or themselves. So, crowning your reading, Temperance. Ooh, lovely to see the card for ease and moderation and balance, but not like justice, where it's static, but dynamic balance, like a little here and a little there. Like, Scorpio people, we can be a bit intense. It's all or nothing. It's this or it's that. It's 0 or it's fucking 60 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? This encourages you to practice, just as the King of Cups does, being able to navigate the ups and downs with gentleness. So perhaps some of you are setting yourselves free from like maybe like a toxic all or nothing kind of attitude. That's just what I'm hearing. Really, like that's great news. Um, I get a really good feeling when I feel that. Like some of you might be sitting in therapy with somebody who brings that to your attention, and really like Spirit's giving me like the sense of like, for my friends out there who have taken medicine or psychedelic journeys, it kind of feels like that, where it's like, whoa, you just changed the way that I see everything with the way that you put that. And even though this session or whatever, or the psychedelic experience is a one-time thing, it will have forever shifted the way that I operate in life and look at life. That's what I'm hearing. And then to back that up, we have the Hierophant sitting in your past. So it's like there is, again, a wise person, a teacher, a mentor, a tradition that you may be following, any of these. It looks like it is serving you. It looks like it is helping you find a center. So Ace of Swords says you're having a bold breakthrough conversation or making that clean break with someone. What's that leading to? For multiple reasons, I will say it is leading you to new adventures, new horizons. Three of Wands is sitting in the position of what is around and available to you. I think many of you are seeking new horizons, like literally and figuratively. So some of you, it's like, I want to move to a new geographical location, or I want a higher position at this job, or I want to go on an adventure. I want to be in a different place. I want to live a different type of life or lifestyle. It's available. It's out there. It's showing up. It's like I feel like a lot of you are going to be getting signs of like, hey, you're thinking about going here. Here's a sign. Here's a sign. Hey, you're thinking about trying out this new thing and kind of expanding. That's the other feeling that I'm feeling is like, I want to expand the work that I do or the subjects that I cover or whatever. I'm feeling expansion and I'm feeling like letting go of the old makes room for the expansion. Very Scorpio season things. We could have just said that, right? Like, let me not pull out all of these cards. We could have just said it's damn Scorpio season. It is time to be cutting off the dead branches so that the live branches can have all that good energy coming up from the roots sent to the right places, the places that can actually grow and expand versus wasted energy on stunted parts, right? So let's jump to the future. Two of Wands, Eight of Cups, King of Pentacles. Now, this is really fucking cool because she has a wand planted behind her. Like, I've got this. This is here. It's here to stay. It's planted. It stands on its own, right? And then I've got this one in my hand. Two of Wands is about, and just a reminder, energy around and available. So if you're looking like the Two of Wands is, the new path or the expanded path is available. But what I was going to say is really cool is here she is holding her walking stick, holding her still growing wand, pondering going on an adventure. Next up, we see a woman walking with her wand, with her walking stick. She is leaving behind old, stagnant, toxic behaviors, habits, relationships, things that when you go and sip out of them for comfort, it's like this used to bring me comfort or some sense of closeness, and now I actually feel more lonely. You know, I go to see that lover who doesn't actually care that much about me or take care of my heart, but you know, at least is passionate. And then you go for the passionate night with this person and you end up coming home and feeling lonelier than ever. Or you come home and you want to pick up your customary coping mechanism, your drink or your smoke or your habit, and when you do the habit, it does not numb the pain or make you feel better. It actually makes you feel worse. That's Eight of Cups shit where it's like, this gotta go. This is not working for me anymore. This is not even just not working, this is actively keeping me sick or small or sad. I've got to go, even though it's scary. And the Eight of Cups is melancholy because it's like, but I loved this. What do you mean I have to leave this behind? Why would I spend all this time investing and loving and taking care of this just to walk away from it? But that's life. Sometimes that's life. We invest in a long, long, long relationship where ultimately, this is now keeping me from growing. Same thing with a job, same thing with like a family tradition. It's like, this, you know, this religion or this rule that I've been following is not making me a better person or helping me grow. It's doing the opposite. I leave it behind. I'm pursuing feeling expanded. I'm pursuing feeling like I'm growing. Where does going out into the great beyond, the unknown, take you? To knowing your own value, to a place of peace and security and fulfillment and all the things that we said at the beginning of the reading that are our prayer. So you may feel like you are leaving behind almost everything that matters to you. And Spirit will always delight and surprise those of us who make those courageous breaks by supplying these new wonderful things that, frankly, when we were back in this mindset, we just weren't even capable of seeing, let alone allowing into our lives. That's just what they're saying. Don't shoot the messenger. Potential healing, peace, a little bit of a pause, a break in a good way, like a break in the action, like some time for recovery. Okay. So if some of you need a pause, take it. Block out a weekend on your calendar and be like, I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not doing anything. I am, you know, reading my old journals or meditating or sorting through my mental space and figuring out what needs to get moved, what needs to get recycled, what needs to be thrown out entirely, what needs to be set on a raft, set out on the ocean, lit a fucking light, and sent on a Viking funeral. All manner of things. It is Scorpio season. The key slash conclusion, King of Pentacles, good friend, the Nine of Pentacles, fulfillment, personal and financial. A feeling of, I really did the fuck out of that. Look at what I've managed to do. I'm pretty amazing. So, looking at your bank account or your child or your career path and going, look how far I've come. And that's another important thing about that 2 and 3 of Wands is if you're ever thinking that like, man, I don't think I could, I don't even know what could be ahead for me. Who knows? Like there's probably nothing out there for me. You need to think about where you were 3, 5, 10, 15 years ago and go, wait a minute, let me not play down my ability to grow and transform and evolve and discover. I'm actually really amazing when I remind myself. You are amazing even when your life is changing, even when some of it is out of your hands. Maybe arguably even more amazing because that's, when Scorpios tend to shine. Like, oh, you want me to go through a transformation? Well, guess what, bitch? Click. That's my shit. I hope you're feeling that way, Scorpio. Feels that way looking at these cards. But now let's get a little button on this from Spirit. Spirit. For Scorpio in November, I want to know, what is your guidance? What is your guidance to help them make the most of this energy? What do they need to know for their highest good in the month of November? Wow, how fucking cool is that? Okay, so in astrology, Scorpio, forgive me if you already know this, I'll be brief. It's all built on the wheel, right? It's all built on a circle. And there are opposing signs, right? Like, so if you say sun opposite moon or whatever, it means that those two signs are diametrically, as in the diameter of a circle, they're opposite of each other. So you have as your star codes for this month, 6th house, sustainability, and 12th house, introspection. The 6th house and the 12th house are opposite houses. You could think of this as like physical self care, spiritual self care. So, sustainable. How am I taking care of my body? And how am I taking care of my spirit? We did just have an eclipse. If you haven't already, it would be a really good time to do like a cleansing of yourself. And you don't have to do anything particular. You don't have to go out and buy anything. The difference between a routine and a ritual is the quality of your presence. So whether you buy yourself new lovely candles and clothes and get the right colors and rocks and whatever, that's great. That's fine. That's a point of focus. But if you bring your focus and the quality of your presence and say, hey, I just need to take a shower for 20 minutes because I've got work in the morning, but I can put the intention into the shower that, like, this, thank you, universe and elements, for helping me wash away stagnant habits, energies, fears. Thank you for helping me open and become more available for the miracles that want to come for me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Think about your spiritual self care. Make sure that you are balancing your physical and spiritual self care. Again, lunar eclipse in Taurus, the sign of the physical and of the earth. So, how are you taking care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? Bring some balance in there. You deserve. How's that hit you, Scorpio? Very curious to know. If you got stories, comments, questions, I always love to hear them. As a scorpionic person myself, I want to know all your business. Let's just be honest. We want to know everybody's business. I hope that this is helpful, Scorpio. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope that I will see you in your next week's Fiercely Focused reading. I'm excited. Bye, Scorpio.